And in a second here, we will be moving on to the next tier list, which is super out of left field. We're gonna be ranking Drake albums. Um, yeah, we're gonna be putting Drake albums in a tier list. At least the ones I've listened to enough to know how good they are. Um, I think for this one, just for the sake of I didn't listen to them that much before, I'm going to leave So Far Gone and Thank Me Later out of this tier list. I know it kind of makes me like a plastic Drake fan. But I haven't listened to them enough. I know a couple songs off each one, but I just haven't listened to these albums enough to accurately rank them among the other ones that I know a lot better. So I'll start with I don't know. We'll start with More Life. I have the tiers here are obviously elite, great, good, solid, mid, and trash. So I'm sure I'll make when I make the thumbnail for this on YouTube, it'll be I'll put like one of my favorite ones in the trash area or some shit like that, and then see if I can get a little bit of clickbait going on because you know how we do it. More Life is mid. More Life is mid. There are a couple good songs. Like I think Galchester is pretty good. Portland is a pretty good song. Um, I think my favorite song off this project, I don't think it was classified as an album. I think it was classified as like a long mixtape. Kind of like If You're Reading This, It's Too Late. However, differentiating itself from If You're Reading This Is Too Late, it's kind of boring. Do Not Disturb is not bad. Um, I think my favorite song on here is 4422, which is the interlude with Sampha, which Drake isn't even on. He's not even a part of that song. So that's probably why it goes in mid. I think it's not a great Drake record. Scorpion, hot take. A lot of people thought Scorpion was trash, and for a couple years, I thought it was a pretty bad album too. Last year, I started like re-listening to it in preparation for Certified Lover Boy that came out last year, just to like kind of gauge how I felt about his albums leading up to this one and where I thought he would go next. There are some pretty good songs on here. If I'm to point some out, I would probably point out the intro track, which is the name of it is passing me by right now. But that one is pretty good. That's How You Feel, Blue Tint, God's Plan's a good song. There are enough good songs on here for it to be considered a solid album. My main issue with it is that it's way too long, which is a problem that will plague another album that I'm going to talk about later on down this list. It's just too long, and there's too many like filler songs that don't need to be there for it to be considered like a good album. Next is Nothing Was the Same. Nothing Was the Same. Yeah. This is an elite album. I have back in my house. I have this on my wall, like behind me, like the poster of it. Where it's kind of like mixed in, like the older Drake looking at the younger one. There's so many really good songs on this album. Album cover is great. The beat selection is a lead on this. Pound Cake is one of my favorite, just general music, like instrumentals of all time. I think that one is really good. Tuscan Leather, The Language, All Me. There are just some good songs on here, and not only that about Pound Cake, but Paris Morton Music is also a good song, which is like what Pound Cake turns itself into. There's a beat switch. Nothing Was the Same as an elite Drake album. I will not have it any other way. Care Package was solid. It was just Care Package is like another like sort of just pretty self-explanatory. He dropped the Care Package to his fans. It's a bunch of old songs that kind of were like not on streaming services. They were released, but they weren't released on streaming services. So he decided to put those guys out there. Like Draft Day is a good. Oh god, I am a tired man. Draft Day and 5 a.m. in Toronto are probably my favorites on this album, just because I like it when Drake keeps his energy high. I think that's where he shines the most. But there's not a whole lot on here, and it's kind of a little bit sleepy at times. But it's definitely not bad because it's some of his oldest songs, and there's some really good ones in there. Take Care is another elite album of his. Um, like, what can I say? It's his first studio album, I'm pretty sure, and he's got Lord Knows. He has Headlines. He has so many really really good classic Drake songs on here, and I think it's definitely maybe his strongest work, like through and through. Um, maybe it's definitely a top two or three Drake project, and I think it's definitely would classify that as elite. Next is Dark Lane demo tapes. I thought it was pretty good, to be honest. It's not, again, just like these other albums, like More Life, Care Package, Scorpion. They're all, it's a little bit mindless. You know what I mean? Like you're not really, the content on these albums aren't super captivating. Um, but during quarantine, I was watching a Sean C video where I totally resonated with him on this point. There are a couple good songs on here. These are just like his unreleased songs from recently that he put out. It's kind of like Care Package, but like not super old. Um, so I just thought it was like a pretty fun listen. Like I didn't have any problems listening to this, and I definitely there are a couple songs I like D4L and Landed are probably my favorites on this album. Next up is Views. Views is solid. I'm actually gonna move Care Package down to mid. I keep Views at solid. There are some good songs on Views, but there are also some pretty bad ones. If I were to pick some favorites, I would probably Pop Style and Hype are pretty good, as well as pretty sure Hotline Bling is on here, unless that was just a single, but I'm pretty sure it's on here. And Controlla. I'm not typically rocking with Drake doing dancehall, but I think Controlla is definitely his best dancehall song. A lot of people will argue for One Dance, but I do think Controlla is his best song of that sort of genre attempt that he did and that he's still doing as of recently. Next up is If You're Reading This Is Too Late. I'm not gonna beat around the bush here. If You're Reading This is definitely, those are definitely his top three projects at the top. And when he makes a good project, it's an elite project. Actually, what I might do is I might move Take Care down the grade. I still think it's is top three for sure. Um, but definitely I've gotten the most enjoyment out of If You're Reading This, and Nothing Was the Same. Obviously Nothing Was the Same as a mixtape as well, but it's a much better mixtape than More Life. There's a lot more energy on these songs, and like speaking of energy, the song Energy is definitely a favorite of mine on this record. Um, there's just some good songs on here. There's not much else I can say about it. It's really good. But if we're moving into the final album on this tier list, it's Certified Lover Boy. I might have been tripping to have faith in this project. I might have been tripping. Uh, I didn't expect it. As soon as he released the cover art, I was hoping it was a joke. But like figuring out that the cover art he made here on Certified Lover Boy wasn't a joke was genuinely depressing to me. I knew the album was going to be like kind of mid after he did that because it was a little bit ridiculous. For that reason, I'm going to throw it. To be honest, it's solid. I think it's on the same level as those three albums. There are definitely some songs on it that I like. Champagne Poetry, the intro, is a great song with a fantastic instrumental. Fair Trade, although we not rock with Travis Scott that much anymore. Fair Trade's a really good high energy song. God, I can't even remember what it is, but there's one that I've really gotten clicked in with recently. But there are some pretty solid ones on here. It's literally on the tip of my tongue right now. I'm Stressing out trying to remember this shit. Um, I don't remember. It was a long one. He was kind of singy on the front end and then rapping on the back end. So I thought that was a good one too. There are definitely some good songs. Way Too Sexy is awful though, and I will not have it any other way. That song is disgustingly bad.